You are the love of my life. You are the hope that I cling to. You mean more than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. I wouldn't trade you for riches untold. You are my everything. You are the love of my life. You are the hope that I cling to. You mean more than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. I wouldn't trade you for riches untold. You are my everything. I wouldn't take one step without you. I could never go on. I wouldn't live one day without you. I don't have the strength to make it on my own. You are the love of my life, Jesus. You are the hope that I cling to. You mean more than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. I wouldn't trade you for riches untold. You are my everything. Until the world stops turning, until the stars fade from the sky, until the sun stops striving, I need you in my life, and here's a reason why. You are the love of my life. You are the hope that I cling to. You mean more than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. I wouldn't trade you for riches untold. You are my everything. Jesus, you are my everything.
And hello once again, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to another Living Hope Today study. Today we find ourselves in Joshua 21. We've watched as God has distributed the promised land to the 12 tribes. He's been very specific about boundaries and areas. We've seen the maps. Okay, well, there's one group of people left that haven't really been allocated anything, and that's the Levites. Why not? Because God has already said, you don't get any land. Why? Because God is their reward. They get to be the intermediary in the temple system between God and man. And because of their service to Him, they don't need anything else. They just need to be His. He is their reward. Of course, He's all of our rewards, right? But this is how He set it up. Levites, no localized place for you. Instead, I'm going to scatter you throughout the 12 tribes by giving you towns within all of their boundaries. And that's what Joshua 21 is about today. Let me show you. You get to verse 1 in Joshua 21. Now the family heads of the Levites, okay? This is the tribe we just talked about, the family heads of the Levites. They approached Eleazar the priest, he's one of them, and Joshua, son of Nun. Joshua comes from the tribe of Ephraim, and the heads of the other tribal families of Israel at Shiloh and Canaan. And they said to them, the Lord commanded through Moses that you give us towns to live in, with pasture lands for our livestock. Where are our towns? So as the Lord commanded, the Israelites gave the Levites the following towns. So that's what this passage, this chapter is about. What towns were they given? They're given towns and pasture lands out of their own inheritance. So the first lot came out for the Kohathites. Now you remember, I hope, that there were three descendants that became of Levi, Kohath, Gershon, and Merari. Those are the three. Okay, we're going to look at them individually now as we go through this chapter. First, the Kohathites. All right, clan by clan. The Levites, who were descendants of Aaron the priest, were allotted 13 towns from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. So, okay, we'll get to the map to show you that in a minute. The rest of Kohath's descendants were allotted 10 towns from the clans of the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and the half of Manasseh. The descendants of Gershon, this is sort of an overview. Now we're talking about Gershon. They were allotted 13 towns from the clans of the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and half tribe of Manasseh in Bashan. That's the east side of the Jordan. The descendants of Merari, clan by clan, received 12 towns from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. The chapter could have ended right here. So the Israelites allotted to the Levites these towns and their pasture lands as the Lord had commanded through Moses. But the Lord said, no, that's not enough. Let's break it down. All right, so we've looked at Merari, we've looked at the other two, the Kohathites and the Gershonites, and now we're going to see how it all breaks down. This is where I'm probably not going to read all the names of all the towns. From the tribes of Judah and Simeon, they allotted the following towns by name. These towns were assigned to the descendants of Aaron, who were from the Kohathite clans of the Levites, because the first lot fell to them. So Kohath isn't the firstborn, but he is the first lot selected as they seek the Lord's guidance in how to assign these things. And you'll find this to be very interesting, I think. So here we go. Back to the Kohathite clans. We've been told this several times now. So now, here are the towns, and I'm going to let you just read these for yourselves, except look at verse 12. But the fields and the villages around the city they had given to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, as his possession. So that area that had already been dedicated to Caleb was not part of what the Kohathite tribe received in Judah. So to the descendants of Aaron the priest, they gave Hebron. Again, notice how we're reminded again that these are descendants of Aaron from the tribe of Levi. And here's a bunch of towns mentioned, together with their pasture lands, 9 towns from the 2 tribes. Judah and Simeon. Again, we'll see it on the map soon. Verse 17, from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, here's a whole bunch of towns, 4 more towns. All the towns for the priests, the descendants of Aaron, were 13 together with their pasture lands. Okay, keep this in mind. We're still breaking down the Kohathites. All right, so let's see. We're now going to go to Ephraim, from the tribe of Ephraim. So in the hill country of Ephraim, they were given Shechem. Notice here we're given another note, a city of refuge for one accused of murder. Remember, we just went through that yesterday in chapter 20 about how there were places for people who had unintentionally caused the death of somebody else to flee for refuge. So we're told that the priestly line, the Kohathites, have been given pasture lands and land, a town in that area. All right. Again, we're told more towns. We're told that Dan received they received these towns from the tribe of Dan. Okay, and then the half tribe of Manasseh they received Tanakh and Gath-Rimmon together with their pasture lands, 2 towns. All these 10 towns and their pasture lands were given to the rest of the Kohathite clans. There's a lot of Kohathite towns going on. We'll see this in a second. Levites, called the Gershonites, are now addressed. Okay, what are they going to get? So we're moving to the second member mentioned of the Levite clans, the descendant of Aaron's. Okay, half tribe of Manasseh, Golan. There's a bunch of towns there. They get land or towns in the tribal land of Issachar. They get land and town in the tribal land of Asher. Again, these are listed. I couldn't find a lot of these towns on the map, so I'm not going to go through them individually. From the tribe of Naphtali, again in Galilee, they're given towns. And 33 is sort of the summary. All the towns of the Gershonite clans were 13 together with their pasture lands. So there's one more group, the Merarite clans. The rest of the Levites, they were given from the tribe of Zebulun and a bunch of towns, and from the tribe of Reuben and a few towns. Again, this is the third descendant of Aaron, Merari. Is that how you say that? More towns from the tribe of Gad. Again, 4 towns in all from them. We get to verse 40. All the towns allotted to the Merarite clans, who were the rest of the Levites, were 12. Okay, so 41. The towns of the Levites in the territory held by the Israelites were 48. So out of the 12 areas of land assigned to the tribes of Israel, the Levites have now been given towns, 48 of those, 48 towns in those areas together with the pasture lands. So they have a place to live, they have a place to raise their livestock, they have towns, but they don't own the land. Each of these towns had pasture lands surrounding it. This was true for all these towns. Now here's one point you need to catch. My voice is leaving me already. You need to catch the fact that the point, besides giving us the detailed information about where all these Levites landed, the point is God has been absolutely faithful to the promise that he made, the covenant he made with Abraham so many centuries before. So the Lord gave Israel all the land. So here we go. Number 1, the Lord gave Israel all the land he had sworn to give their forefathers, and they took possession of it and settled there. Promise kept. Number 1, the land. What else does God do? The Lord gave them rest on every side, just as he had sworn to their forefathers. So now the Lord gave them land, the Lord gave them rest. Now we understand that it's the Lord's doing that has caused all these things to happen. And not one of their enemies withstood them. The Lord handed all their enemies over to them. All right, so they lived in peace. And then the summation of chapter 21 and all this distribution that we've seen all the way since chapter 13. Not one of all the Lord's good promises to the house of Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled. Very important to understand that the writer of the text, as inspired by the Holy Spirit, wants to make sure we understand that God didn't miss a thing. God did everything he said he would do, despite the unfaithfulness and rebelliousness of his people. He still got them all to the promised land, got them distributed as he willed, and the Levites are now placed. We're coming towards the end of the book of Joshua because one of the great missions of the book is to bring the people into the land, and as it's been described, we're about finished. So remember, these are the divisions of the tribes. We've already looked at that, but let's zoom in for a minute. We look at Judah and Simeon, Benjamin, Ephraim, Dan, and half Manasseh. This is where the Kohathites live, and they get, amazingly, think about this, they get 23 towns. Now, Moses and Aaron are descendants of Kohath, all right? So they get the majority of the towns, but they're centralized mainly in the south and the central area of the Promised Land. Now, the Gershonites, well, they're more central, and they go north as well, but they only have 13 towns in half Manasseh, Issachar, Asher, and Naphtali. And when you get to the Merarites, they only have 3 areas with 12 towns in those areas. Okay, so as it breaks down, the Kohathites have 23 towns for the Levites within them. The Gershonites have 13 and the Merarites have 12. Why is this so important? Well, just understand the distribution. Why isn't it all evenly spaced? Well, God has a plan, and God has determined that the majority of the Levite towns will be the Kohathites. Now, what are we going to see? Well, we'll see that God moves through these tribes, and he moves through these Levite clans. As we go forward from here, these names will come up over and over again, especially when we get to Chronicles. We'll see a lot of different things. But understand that if you're a citizen in the Promised Land in this time in history, you have access to 2 things that are very near, within a day's walk. You have access to a city of refuge if you need it. You have access to a Levite priest if you need him. All right? And, of course, to carry out all the requirements God has placed on the Israelites, the priests will be very busy. That's where we are at the end of Joshua 21. We'll pick it up there next time. God bless you, church. Serve him well.
Who is it who for sinners shed his blood, and now for cleansing all can plunge beneath that flood? It's Jesus. But do you know who he is? He's the image of the invisible God, and he's the brightness of his glory, the first, the last, the future, the past. He is God.